Okay, perfect. Does it say it's recording on your end?
Yep. I gotta say continue.
Perfect. How do you pronounce your name? Like your full name, just
Efan.
so. Okay,
Efan.
Ethan Quirk.
Efan Quirk. Yeah.
Perfect. So, hey, Asian American Film Lab. I'm here with Ethan Quirk, who is participating for Fortune's Palace as part of the Unfinished Works program here at the Film Lab. Just a few questions regarding your career and everything. Why filmmaking, and what is your background as a writer?
So I came to filmmaking through theater. I think I started acting, really loved that. Actually, one of my first roles was in a Shakespeare play. My high school teacher, thank goodness, was courageous enough to be willing to put a young Asian boy in a Shakespeare play. So that was great. And then from there, kind of a love of the word, a love of performance, a love of storytelling. And then in college, I really started to be interested in film, kind of educated myself, and also, took some film classes. Just as a medium, I felt like it had such an ability to tell a story that you couldn't, as great as theater is, you kind of had the ability to choose exactly what the viewer was going to see. You could really craft the performances. Through editing, through the photography. Was a big fan of Kubrick's movies early on. I thought the way that he looked at the world and portrayed things was really amazing. And kind of you were just like, whoa, you walked out of the movie and you didn't really feel like you'd seen a movie. You were like, I just had an experience.
Right.
So I think the magic of film through, movies like that, and kind of just growing from a love of storytelling. That's kind of where I come from. I went to NYU Film School after I majored in English and theater at Princeton. Went to NYU Film School for grad film. Worked with some great people there. Still work with some of them today. I was I was a producer on Violet and Daisy, which was Geoffrey Fletcher's directorial debut. He won the Oscar for Best Screenplay for Precious. He was the first African American writer to ever win an Oscar. We're still working on things today. We actually co-wrote a script, not this one, but this is one that I wrote all on my own. But yeah, I'm proud of it, and I'm very excited to have Asian American Film Lab do it because just the resources that are available, having Asian actors who are used to doing this, that's great. Just having cast my own films and other films, it can be hard to find talent, and it's just great that there's a community here that will do that. To get input also from other Asian Americans, I think will understand a lot of the themes that are in this movie. I think is really important to me because that's kind of where I want to start from. I want to start from growing within the community, hearing what, am I telling an authentic story? Am I avoiding cliches, hopefully? And are there, just insights of the things I should know? I'm definitely excited to listen and hear what other people have to say about, what it sparks, what this work sparks in them.
Right. Perfect. So tell us a little bit about Fortune Palace. Obviously, it's an Asian American story, which is fantastic because there's such a lack of that in today's industry. But also, what do you think this project brings to the table when it comes to representation in Asian American media?
One of the interesting things about this story is that one of the original ideas was we wanted to take something like kind of the stereotypes, right? And really try to flip them on their heads, like to show, but in a real way, like not just for the sake of changing it, but, to take a family that maybe appeared perfect on the surface, but underneath had all kind of the human qualities of passion, jealousy, fear, anger, love, that I think a lot of people don't necessarily see, in a lot of, especially when it's, Asian Americans portrayed, fairly one-dimensionally in most pieces, so to be able to do that was kind of one of the driving forces of wanting to do that. So I kind of wanted to focus on Roger, kind of as the main character, who's a young Asian American man, and I feel like that's actually something that it's not really represented that much in the media, specifically Asian American, and I think there is a unique experience there that I wanted to explore, just the frustrations, in addition to, just what it's like, for, and kind of allow people to identify that. I did want to look at the family as well and think about, the father-son dynamics, the mother-daughter, mother-son, kind of look at how all those work, but on a really intimate level and a real level, kind of based on some of my own experiences and what I've seen. So on the one hand, wanting to overturn a lot of stereotypes. So kind of almost starting from a point where people might feel like, oh, I've seen this, but then very quickly kind of turning and saying, but there's much more to this.
Right. And it's awesome because when I read your pilot, it very much takes inspiration from really prestigious and those landmark dramas like The Sopranos or like Breaking Bad, especially in the way that you flip and humanize like what's going on in places that are otherwise like not really talked about. And I think what your pilot does is really cool, especially with the dynamics in that Chinatown-esque landscape.
Right. I did a lot of research about, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, there was a big problem with youth gangs. And they were basically used by the Tongs to for extortion, for protection money. And on the one hand, it's like, you could kind of go all Year of the Dragon on it. But there was so many, like, as I dug in, like the stories of these kids, and it was really sad in many cases. And then like the manipulation of the people who were in the Tongs, and there were so many human stories in there too, that kind of really reminded me in some ways of, The Godfather, that I wanted to explore kind of from the point of view of Roger, someone who kind of comes from a place of kind of the ABC, overachiever, right? But then gets pulled into this world and kind of has to go through his own heart of darkness, if you will, to find like what really makes himself tick, and what are the frustrations that he feels in life, and how does he express that, and how does he take kind of the things that he's given when he turns to this kind of dark side, much like Michael Corleone or Walter White, or The Sopranos, so I did want to kind of see, kind of start from this place of the model minority, but then take it to a place where it becomes a very personal struggle and journey, an internal journey of like, who am I as a person? What is my sense of right and wrong? What is my sense of morality? Why am I doing the things I do, in the face of all the things that have been put on me through my life, so that's, so definitely a lot of inspirations from some classic films and TV shows.
Perfect. We're really excited to have you for the Unfinished Works workshop, EFAN, as part of the Asian American Film Lab. And I'm glad that I got to talk to you today. This pilot is shaping out to be something that is really cool. And I can't wait for other people to hear about it as well.
Thanks so much, Rodrigo.